Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into how a flipped climate calendar, a distant war, and some frankly amazing new technology are creating a perfect storm for Indian agriculture. We're going to break down what it all means for the future of food for 1.4 billion people.
All right, let's just jump right in with a single, staggering number. 627,000 hectares. That is the sheer area of crops that were compromised by a brand new, totally unpredictable risk that just popped up in early 2026. So what on earth happened?
Well, that massive number brings us to our first big reality. The very calendar that farmers have trusted for generations has been turned completely on its head.
You see, for as long as anyone can remember, Indian agriculture really only had one major threat to worry about: a known enemy, the volatile southwest monsoon. The whole system was built to handle just that one thing.
Think about it. From insurance policies to bank loans, everything was timed and calibrated to manage the risk of either too much rain or too little between June and September. The rest of the year, that was supposed to be the safe period.
But then, 2026 happened. And what's so wild is that a new threat didn't just replace the old one. No, it added a whole other layer of risk, creating a dangerous and unpredictable new normal.
Suddenly, unseasonal hailstorms and crazy amounts of rain turned March and April into a second, equally destructive high-risk window. And here's the absolute kicker. This new threat hits right when the crops are mature, right at the moment of harvest, when an entire 6 months of investment is sitting in the field.
But this new climate reality didn't happen in a bubble. Just as farmers were trying to figure out this bizarre new weather, a crisis halfway around the world sent a second massive shockwave, hitting them from two sides at once.
The conflict in West Asia triggered what you can only call a double whammy. First, the cost to even grow crops went through the roof as fertilizer prices surged. And at the exact same time, the ability to sell valuable produce overseas just collapsed, all because of shipping chaos.
Now, to keep farmers from getting totally wiped out by this inflation, the government had to step in with a massive subsidy. We're talking over 41,000 crore rupees, just to keep fertilizer prices somewhat stable for the next season.
But even that huge intervention couldn't save the exporters. Over 1,000 crore rupees worth of high-value goods, think mango pulp from Andhra Pradesh, were suddenly at risk, just sitting there, stranded in warehouses or on ships with nowhere to go.
So, you've got fields of weather-damaged crops and this massive economic crisis brewing. The government found itself backed into a corner and had to make an incredibly tough choice. And that brings us to our third reality.
I mean, what do? The crucial question became, do you stick to the quality rules and reject millions of tons of damaged grain? Or do you take the hit, absorb the loss, and save countless farmers from absolute ruin?
And this right here shows you exactly what they decided. They didn't just bend the rules, they basically rewrote the rule book. They more than doubled the allowance for broken grains and permitted up to 70% luster loss. This made sure that even the weather-damaged wheat would be bought at a minimum support price. But, it's not all doom and gloom. Amid all of this crisis and chaos, a couple of really surprising and powerful innovations started to bubble up. Let's start with a whole new way to finance climate-friendly farming.
$30 million. That's the value of a landmark deal where Amazon agreed to buy carbon credits directly from Indian rice farmers. And believe me, this is a complete paradigm shift.
So here's the core idea, and it's pretty brilliant. For the first time at this scale, big corporate money is flowing directly to farmers to get them to adopt sustainable practices. It basically turns a harmful greenhouse gas, methane, into a valuable asset that you can trade, creating a brand new income stream out of thin air.
Okay, that brings us to our final reality. And this one reveals a very modern paradox. It's where high-tech ambition is crashing head-on with a low-tech bottleneck.
On the one hand, you've got the government's AgriStack initiative. It's this massive project to build a unified digital database for agriculture, and it's had incredible success. Over 91 million unique digital IDs for farmers have been created. This is a huge leap towards data-driven precision agriculture.
But then, look at this number. At the exact same time, in the critical grain bowl of Punjab, just 4.5% of the procured wheat was actually physically lifted from the markets. It was a staggering logistics failure that just brought the system to a grinding halt.
And this quote just says it all, doesn't it?
It shows that while India is building this super sophisticated digital agricultural system on paper, the physical supply chain, the trucks, the roads, the warehouses, is collapsing under the strain of a real-world crisis.
And that leaves us with the critical question for this new age of volatility. As all these shocks become the new normal, can India's digital farmers outpace a changing climate and a chaotic geopolitical landscape? The tools are being rolled out, for sure, but the paralysis in our grain bowls is a stark reminder that the answer to this question, well, it's going to determine everything.